Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Everyone together. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hari Bol. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hari Bol. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hari Bol, everyone. Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Very loudly, please. Much louder. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Punya Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava, Punya Bihari, Jashodanandana, Brajajana Ranjana, Jashodanandana, Brajajana Ranjana, Jamuna Tira Banachari, Jamuna Tira Banachari, Jaya Radha Madhava, Punya Bihari, Gopijana Vallabha, Girivaradhari, Gopijana Vallabha, Girivaradhari, Yashodanandana, Brajajana Ranjana, Yashodanandana, Brajajana Ranjana, Yamuna Tira Banachari, Yamuna Tira Manasati Jaya Radha Madhava Punyabihari Jaya Radha Madhava Punyabihari Jai Mahatma Samparibrahya Acharya Sakharishya Smala Viditam Saraswati Goswami Bhagavad Jai Nanda Kodi Vaishnava Ki Jai Ramacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Names of the whole Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Radha Shivadari Gaur Bhakti Sri Radha Krishna Bhogavna Sam Kanda Radha Kanda Giri Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadip Dham Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Jamuna Mai Ki Jai Guru Dwarka Dham Ki Jai Swami Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai All glories to the All glories to the Thank you very much.
Krishna Prabhu, humble obeisances.
Nava Pranam, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, how are you?
In your hands and in Krishna's hands, I'm fine.
Long time no see.
Yeah,
Goswami.
I was waiting for your mercy.
You didn't here now. I said, make I come fight you today.
The time for fighting is over. No
Let
need to
me
fight.
put the verse on the screen so we start. After the class, we fight.
Thank you very much. How are you?
I'm surviving by your mercy.
Good, good. Nice to be with the Dasho. Salika Prabhu Pranam too.
Good.
Haribo,
My supreme benefactor.
forgive my offenses.
If there is any.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah, Haribo.
All the verse.
Om Magyan Timirandaksya Janang Jana Salakaya Shakshuro Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimati Radhana Swami Iti Namine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Sri Chaitanyam Nanobistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swa Padantikam Vande Ham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavam Syam Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shivisha Kamvitam Sya He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabando Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishwabhanu Sutedevi Pranamami Hari Priye Manchakalpatarubhyaschai Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanambeyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada
Shivashade Shigora Bhakta Vindam. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskrityam Naranchaiva Nara Uttamam Devin Sarasatim Vyasa Tatudaya Mudirayet Nasta Priya Swabradisunityam Bhagavatam Sevaya Bhagavate Uttamasloke Bhakti Bhavati Nastikihi. Hare Krishna to everybody present. You're welcome. And I beg for your blessings that I will be able to do this service with due diligence for my purification and for the benefit of the audience. Hare Krishna. Today we are taking our reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, Chapter 8, Manifestation of Brahma from Gabudakasha Vishnu. Text number 30 through 32.
33.
We'll start with text number 1, 30 to 32. Stretch. Or 30 to 33, sorry. Just excuse me, let me silence the noise of the background. Hare Krishna. Chara Charuko Bhagavan Mahidram Ahindra Bandhu Salilo Pagodam Kireta Sahastra Hiranya Sringam Avi Babar Kostabarat Nagabam. Translation. Like a great mountain, the Lord stands as the door, the abode for all moving and non-moving living entities. He is a friend of the snakes because Lord Ananta is his friend. As a mountain has thousands of golden peaks, so the Lord was seen with the thousands of golden helmeted hoods of Ananta Naga. And as a mountain is sometimes filled with jewels, so also his transcendental body was fully decorated with valuable jewels. As a mountain is sometimes submerged in the ocean water, so the Lord sometimes is submerged. So the Lord is sometimes submerged in the water of devastation. Text number 31. Nivitamam naya madhuvrata striya swakriti maya vanamalaya harim suryendava agni agamam tridamabi parikrama pradanikai durasadam. Translation. Lord Brahma, thus looking upon the Lord in the shape of a mountain, concluded that he was Hari, personality of Godhead. He saw that the garland of flowers on his chest glorified him with Vedic wisdom in sweet songs and looked very beautiful. He was protected by the Sudarshan wheel of fighting. And even the sun, moon, air, fire, etc., could not have access to him. Text number 32. Tate vatamna bisara sarojam atmana amba swasanam biyacha dada shadevo jagato vidahatam nata param loka visagadristi. Translation again. When Lord Brahma, the maker of the universal destination, thus saw the Lord, he simultaneously glanced over creation. Lord Brahma saw the lake in Lord Vishnu's navel and the lotus flower as well as the devastating water. The drying air and the sky all became visible to him. The last text 33, Saka Mabijam Rajaso Paraktam Raja Sishrik San Iyat Evadristwa Astod Visaga Bimukas Tamedam Idyam Avyaktavatmani Abhivesitatma. Word for word transliteration. Saha, he, Brahma, Kamabijam, seed of worldly activities. Raja Uparakta, initiated by the mode of passion. Raja, living entities. Shishrik San, willing to create progeny. Iyan, all the 5 causes of creation. Eva, thus. Dristua, looking on. O stout, prayed for. Visaga, creation after the creation by the Lord. Abimoka, towards, stand that. Idam, worshipable. Avyakta, transcendental. Vatmani, on the part of. Abhivesita, fixed. Atma, mind. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Bhaktivedanta Swami Jagagusta Prabhupada Ki Jai. Lord Brahma, thus being surcharged with the mood of passion, became inclined to create. And after seeing the 5 causes of creation indicated by the personality of Godhead, he began to offer his respectful prayers on the part of the creative mentality, purport by Srila Prabhupada. Even if one is in the material mode of passion, to create something in the world, he has to take shelter of the Supreme for the necessary energy. That is the part of successful termination of any attempt. Mukankarati Vachalam, Pangam Langayate Girim, Ya Kripatam Hamande, Shi Guru Dinatarinam, Ya Kripatam Hamande, Paramananda Madhava, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Ishwara, Hare Krishna. The text looks many, purport is very, very limited. But then, Prabhupada minimized the purport because the subject matter in these 4 texts have already been discussed in the beach of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, which is called the Chatusloki. The beach, the seed of all scripture, Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, is in the 10th canto, text number 8 to 11, and also in Srimad Bhagavatam. In text number 42 of the 10th chapter, Krishna was telling Arjuna, he said, Ata va bahu naitena, kim natena tabajuna, vista byaham idam kristam, ekam sena sito jagat. You look at these 4 texts, or from the earlier text, it is just like mocked up with so many descriptions of the Lord. And it is because Lord Brahma beheld the darshan of the Lord. The darshan of the Lord in many instances in Bhagavatam, starting with the 1st canto, when Narad Muni got a glimmer of darshan of the Lord, it has effect. and he increases hankering for the audience of the Lord. Dhruva Maharaj also beheld the darshan of the Lord and increased his intensity in devotion. And in many instances, and in this very case of Lord Brahma, Brahma was also attesting and responding to the effect of seeing the Lord. Our Acharya, Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur, he actually titled this chapter, Brahma Sees the Lord. And if you look at text 31 that we are reading, he said, he is the Lord, Hari. Seeing that the Lord was being glorified, so Brahma saw, and that is why he composed the Brahma Samhita. He saw. And many times, Prabhupada is asked, and even today we are asked, have you seen God? It is sometimes difficult. But in text 42 of chapter 10, Krishna is telling Arjuna, but what is the need, dear? For all this detailed knowledge, this is detailed knowledge, with a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. Krishna said it's the opening of the Chatusloki in Bhagavad Gita, when in text number 8 he said, Aham Savasya Prabhu Mata Savam Pavatate. Iti Matwa Bhajanti Mam Buddha Bhava Samavita. If you take this text very analytically, you find out that knowledge breeds action. Knowledge will spur some activity. So Krishna said, I am the source of all spiritual and material world. Everything emanates from me. The wise, knowledge will make you wise. Wisdom. Who perfectly knows this? When you are in full knowledge, something will sprout. He engages in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. This is what Lord Brahma is doing in the last text. He observed himself. He knew he had activity, but he's convinced that he has everything it takes, but he'll be successful. Like Prabhupada ended the purport. That is a part of successful termination of any attempt, anything you want to do. When you have articulated all the required knowledge, then you have to engage yourself in the shelter of the Supreme for the necessary energy empowerment. That's why he said that nobody can practice or preach Krishna consciousness unless he is empowered. You have to be empowered to preach Krishna consciousness. So in the purport to that text, Prabhupada said, a learned scholar who has studied the Vedas perfectly and has information from authority like Lord Chaitanya and who knows how to apply these teachings can understand that Krishna is the origin of everything in both material and spiritual. And because he knows this perfectly, he becomes firmly fixed in devotional service to the Supreme Lord. That is the gain of knowing Krishna. Firmly fixed. So first, this is the understanding that we should have. Then it will become personal application. How do you apply this knowledge? It becomes firmly fixed in devotional service to the Supreme Lord. And this is what we see, that even though Lord Brahma performed austerity for thousands of years, it was the grace of God that made him behold the darshan of the Lord. And when he beheld the darshan of the Lord, he got more inside conviction and realized his duty. Our primary question in Krishna consciousness, who are you? Where did you come from? What is your business here? If you live here, where are you going? So our business here is Aham Brahmasmi. And as a spirit soul, I am servant of Krishna, to serve Krishna. That's our duty, no other thing. So when one knows this and he surrenders to Krishna, he gets energized to do Krishna's bidding. So in one of the purposes, Prabhupada mentioned specifically that this conviction comes from this middle text, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, text number 8 to 11. An emphasis on chapter 10, text 8. Krishna said it himself. So yes, many times scriptures are spoken, but realizing the scripture takes grace. So that is why Krishna mentioned in text number 10, I give them Tesan Satata Yuktanam Bhajantam Pritipuvak Dadami Buddhi. I give the intelligence. Yenamam Payantite. To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to. The understanding sprouts dedicated submission to Lord Krishna. And it's what he said in text number 55 of chapter 18. Bhaktyamam Abhijananti. Only by unmotivated, uninterrupted devotional service can I be known as I am, standing before you. And there's one statement I like in that text, where he said, by this understanding, one can understand me as I am, the Supreme Personality of God, only by devotional service. And when one is in full consciousness of me by such devotion, he can enter. That is express visa into the kingdom of expressly. You can go to kingdom of God. But the thing is, we may be too preoccupied with so many detailed knowledge. All this is huge knowledge. At some point also, it can become a little bit bewildering or difficult to comprehend. But the beauty is the acharyas who narrated this to us were doing it for ever benefit of all those who take to the path of devotional service. So, and the forum where this is discussed is also for the benefit of the speaker, the audience, and for humanity at large. So if the speaker is bona fide, the listener is bona fide, then automatically something will take place. So the association of devotee is glorified when he said, Sadhu Sangha, Sava Sastra Koi. Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha, Sava Siddhi Hoy. Siddhi means the perfection takes birth in the association of devotees. So that is what proper ended. Successful termination of any attempt. Anything you want to do becomes successful. When you are sufficiently hard, and then you surrender, and then automatically you wait on the Lord accomplishment. And you definitely will be successful. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he was very sympathetic that in all the texts, in his Sarata Dashini commentary, he gave purport to all the texts. These four texts, he gave purports. In the 30th text, he said, having compared the Lord to sandalwood tree, he now compares the Lord to a sandalwood mountain to show that the Lord is his own shelter. And if you see in Bhagavad Gita chapter 18, purport, Prabhupada actually mentioned the principles of surrender. The principles of surrender, Prabhupada quote, Anukulina Sankalpa Particulasya Vajanam. Rasisya Titi Viswaso Gope Tre Vamanam Tata Atamanam Nirteta Kapainya Sadvida Saranagati. Saranagati means surrender. according to the devotional process, one should simply accept such religious principles that will lead ultimately to the devotional service of the Lord. One may perform a particular occupational duty according to his own position in social order, but if he executes his duty, one does not come to the point of Krishna consciousness. All his activities are in vain. Anything that does not lead to the perfectional stage of Krishna consciousness should be avoided. Accept what is favorable and reject what is unfavorable. One should be confident that in all circumstances, Krishna will protect him from all difficulties. That is another principle of surrender. In any situation, Krishna will protect. So, what is the reservation of surrendering? Therefore, there is no need to think how one should keep the body and soul together. Krishna will see to that. One should always think himself helpless and should consider Krishna the only basis for his progress in life. As soon as one seriously engages himself in devotional service to the Lord in full Krishna consciousness, at once he becomes freed from all contaminations of material nature. There are different processes of religion and purificatory process by cultivation of knowledge, meditation, and mystic yoga. But one who surrenders to Krishna does not have to execute so many methods. That simply surrender unto Krishna will save him from all unnecessary waste of time. One can thus make all progress at once and be freed from all sinful reactions. So that is surrendering. And in the association of devotees, we learn this, we apply this, and we benefit ourselves. So Lord Brahma, Vishnu Chakravarti is saying, compare the Lord to sandalwood tree. He now compares the Lord to sandalwood mountain, so that the Lord is his own shelter. That is why I read that principles of surrender. The Lord is the Himalayan mountain, the shelter of moving and non-moving entities. He is the friend of the king of snakes and animals. Just as the mountain is the friend of the king of snakes, he is embraced by water. The Gabutagash, or the milk ocean. Just as the Himalayan mountain is decorated with streams, he has thousands of golden pinnacles with the thousands of crowns. Himalayan mountain is famous with golden pinnacles. On his form is the Kastuba jewel. Just as the Himalayan has many jewel mines. This is an explanation to convince about the opulence of the beauty of the Lord. And when you are convinced about this, that's why the wise who know this surrender and take to my devotional service with all their heart. So when you are sure that there is nothing to lack, what will be your reservation in taking to devotional service? And in text 31, he confirmed, he saw the Lord endowed with garland, made by his own glory, who was surrounded by the Vedas, singing his glory like bees, and who was not understood by the Devatas. Means God is not easily understood. That's why we need the help of great devotees, acharyas. And when they are able to give us their mercy, our darkened eyes will be opened with the torchlight of knowledge. And even the demigods, they don't understand the beauty of the Lord. He was hard to reach because he was surrendered by his associates and weapons, all made of eternity, knowledge, and peace. So the God that we are worshiping is not a destructible God. It's not a God that is to be threatened. Even though sometimes by his illusory energy, he creates such a situation, like all the childhood pastime that he enacted in Vrindavan, when different demons came to attack him and made it look like he's destructive. But no, because this text is confirming he's surrounded by his associates. Bhagavata says, Sango Pangastra Prasadam. He has his associates and he has his weapon. all made of eternity. They're eternally there. Not that they are there sometime. So Vishnu Chakravarti Chako mentioned, having described the mountain, it now shows that this is the Lord. Navi Tam means endowed with. Is endowed with. Absolutely endowed. It cannot be understood by the devatas, such as the sun or the moon, air, or fire. He's hard to attain because of being surrounded by associates like Jan Vijay, who have bodies made of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. Tri Damabi, or by spiritual weapons such as a chakra to protect the Lord. So if the Lord is eternally protected by his associates and weapons, why should you who surrender to him have fear? That's why in that text it says, in all circumstances, the Lord will protect me. In all circumstances. So we have to do this without fear. One should be confident that in all circumstances, Krishna will protect him from all difficulties. Is it mentioned that a drowning man, it's an analogy, somebody who is drowning cannot be saved by another drowning man. Somebody who is free, or somebody who is bound, is tied. He cannot save another tied person. It's somebody who is free. So God is eternally protected. That's what it's indicating, eternally. So he can afford to give us the required protection at every level of our existence. It's not temporary, eternally. Okay, that's what Vishwanath Chakravarti Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is helping us to understand in this purport. In text 32, designed to create in the universe, Brahma saw nothing except the lotus coming from the water, Vishnu novel, himself, and the three elements, himself, and air, water, ether. He saw the lotus and the Vishnu's navel, himself in the lotus, and the three elements, water, air, and ether, all around him. He did not see anything else, such as fire and earth. He has a desire, drishti, to create saga, variety, vivida in the world. And in text 33, the Vishwanath Chakravarti mentioned, intent to creating, looking at the lotus himself, the water, air, and ether, yat, as ingredients of his creation, Kama Bijam, Brahma thought, how shall I create? I will surrender to the Lord, giving up absorption in creation. He concentrated his mind, Atma, on the Supreme Lord. Concentrated his mind. So in Prabhupada mentioned that the 5 ingredients of creation, he saw they were available. And so that intensified. And after seeing the 5 causes of creation indicated by the personality of God, he began to offer his respectful prayers on the part of the creative mentality. Srila Vishwanath Thakur explained that further. He concentrated his mind on the Supreme Lord. And this is where Prabhupada entered it when he said, successful act. That is the part of successful termination of any attempt, means execution of anything we want to do. It's a very good therapy for personal application, that whatever we want to do, whatever our labor and aspirations are, it requires that we have definition by knowledge and also dependence on empowerment from God. That is only where there are glimmers of hope for us to accomplish the feats that we desire. And so the text and the chapter The segment we have read, it gives us ample information about God. And if somebody asks you, have you seen God? If you have not seen God, he said somewhere, because God is supreme pure. And if you take shelter of God, you also become pure, supremely pure. So if God is supremely knowledgeable, or those who have seen God, they can explain what they saw. Then automatically from them, even though we may not see from our eyes, but we are privy that we can see by association, by the presence of the deities in the temple, by service. God communicates with us, God reciprocates with us. And then, yes, we can make bold to say, yes, I see God. Prabhupada said the same thing. I see God every moment, every day. Yes. No Brahma saw. He described what is. And that is what made up the whole of the Brahma Samhita. He's an adept that plays on flute. He was seen. Slavishwar Thakur said, Brahma sees the Lord. He saw. So God is seeable. And Jesus himself made this clear when he said, those who are pure in heart, they can see God, or they shall see God. So we just have to follow in the line of the discipline succession and previous acharyas. We also have access to these experiences that they have. But the admonition is, it should not be imitated. Don't imitate, just follow. And Baptist Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, don't try to see God, but act in such a way that God will see you. If God sees you, it's his own prerogative when, how, and in what magnitude he will unveil himself to you. So we are fortunate that we can vouch for example people who saw. There are many examples. That is the beauty of the Vedic scripture, especially the Srimad Bhagavatam. Unlimited forms of the manifestation. Unlimited, innumerable. Said like rivulets coming out of the sea. Unlimited. Krishna Tumba. As rivulets coming, that is the number. But in all of them, Krishna is Bhagwan Swayam. So that is our fortune. Otherwise, in contemporary theology, you may be admonished that you cannot see God. If you see God, you will die. There's so many things. And that affects the level of exchange that we have with God. Actually, in my early years as a child, this was how my spiritual journey started. I was a mass servant with an Irish priest who was my Bible teacher in the secondary school, Form 1, Form 2. I used to accompany him to serve mass as a mass servant. And then after our treating one chapter in Genesis, the creation, I had asked the Reverend, when he finished reading that God created in 7 days, the heavens, the earth, and all of this. And I asked him, where was God when he created the heaven and the earth? And the Reverend Father told me, it is a sin to ask this kind of question. You know, it's like opposite polarities. Out of enthusiasm, curiosity, I had asked because I want to know. And my Catholic orientation about sin, if you commit sin, you have to go for confession on Saturday. So it's like I was beaten aback. And I started thinking, if it's a sin to ask such a question, so if I go for confession on Saturday, what should I confess? What should be my confession? What sin have I committed? It took the whole of the years of search until I came to Krishna consciousness and read this very area of Bhagavatam. that Gabo Dakashai Vishnu and Karana Dakashai Vishnu were lying on the coastal ocean or the ocean of milk. So it took me back again to the Bible in Genesis where it said, and the Spirit of God was over the waters. That is the answer to the question I asked, not sin. The answer is there. But the misleading answer of the priest created bias in my mind. And I started thinking, I hope I'm not in the wrong place. But thanks to Krishna and Prabhupada and the disciplic succession, that we can cut edges and be able to build bridges to connect. And so we can make bold to tell, yes, even though some practitioners of contemporary theology will think we don't know God, we're not practicing what they believe, but Prabhupada said, Jesus is our guru. So if Jesus is our guru, we believe in what Jesus taught. But we may not be acting word for word, action for action, what the Christians do. But we believe in what Jesus taught because Jesus is from God. And Jesus did the bidding of God. And that is what our life is meant for. Okay. So those who know about God can tell us about God. They can also guide us how to participate in the desires of God. And that is how our life becomes perfect. So I cited the example of Narad Muni in the first canto. He associated with the four Bhaktivedantas. They taught him devotional service. And he said, by the grace of the four Bhaktivedantas, after his mother's death, he left home and started moving northwest. In course of his sojourn in the interim experience of meditation, the Lord in the heart manifested, and it was a very, very exciting experience for him. Very exciting. That he desired that same darshan again. But God came to tell him, I have only given you this tip of the iceberg, just to stimulate your appetite. In this lifetime, you will not see me again. Okay, so the hankering continued.
I'm coming. I'll show you something.
Dhruva Maharaj, when he wanted a kingdom like that of his father, he went to the forest not knowing anything. No definition of what God is like. Because his mother told him, don't take revenge on anybody. Leave everything in the hands of God. God will fight your battle. God will do the revenge. And he asked the mom, where is God? And the mom said, the sages of yours said, God is in the forest. No definition, just forest. And immediately 5-year-old boy left for the forest. And when he entered the forest, any object he behold, he asks, are you God? Leaf, are you God? Plant, are you God? Insect, are you God? Okay? He was curious. Then Narad Muni came his way and gave him prescription to sit in one place. After he tried to dissuade him, but Dhruva said, all what you are saying now is not meant for me. Inside is my blood, my body is the blood of a Kshatriya that does not tolerate insults. So I am bent on what I want. So he saw that the boy was determined, desperate, depraved, and he gave him the therapy that will help him. Chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudeva. So Dhruvas did it by the mercy and blessing of a devotee, and ultimately God manifested before him. But when he saw God, because he does not know what God looked like from inception, he was dumbfounded. He didn't know how to pray. He didn't know what to do. But when Narayan Vishnu touched his head with conch shell, he was energized. It is that same energizing that Prabhupada mentioned in that purport. Okay. We submit ourselves to God, depending on God's energy, empowerment to execute whatever task we have to do in life. There are many of us who are going through many experiences in life, and then because of delusion or bewilderment, we start looking for solution here and there. But if we have the right association, if you see, that's the whole chronology of what we are discussing. The Dura left home under whatever circumstance he left. He went to the forest, he went on pilgrimage, and he was going from place to place, and finally he met Maitreya. The bitterness, the anxiety, and so many things I was feeling, when he sat with Maitreya, everything dies down. That is why this Nityam Bhagavatam Sevaya, constantly hearing and attendance in Bhagavatam and serving the Bhagavatas. This is mystical. It's not ordinary. But you have to hear it, internalize it, realize it, and apply it. He said all that is complicated in the heart is destroyed. So we have to hear. We have to submit ourselves to participate in the instructions given. Brahma only had tapa. He did not hear where the instruction came from, and he applied himself. In the end, God came and shook hands with him. For God to shake hands with you, it means millions. God shake hands with you. And when God touched the head of Dhruva with his conscience, means a lot. This is what we are called for. This is what we are cut out for. So why is it that at some point we become despondent, bewildered, confused, and we start running from pillar to post where there is no solution? Solution is here. So this hearing must continue eternally. But then it is not only to hear. Self-application. We have to apply it. And we have to share also with our audience. But our preaching will have no impact if we are not showing by example. Jesus said, you are the mirror of the world. People will see the world through how you are living. You are the light of the world. The same thing, the acharyas expect us to follow in the footsteps of previous acharyas. Prabhupada was mentioned in one of his books. He said, my Guru Maharaj never compromised. I am not compromising. And none of my disciples in the future should compromise. So it's a call to duty and a call to responsibility. The material whirlpools will be there. The obstacles will be there. But the therapy also is in our custody. So Srila Krishna mentioned unequivocally, said it will be the greatest tragedy that we have weapon to win a warfare and we fail to use it. That is application. We have weapon to win a warfare and we fail to use it. So who to blame? Ourselves. So our self-application is very, very important in our life experience. That's why it is DIY. Do it yourself. But you need the association of others. who are doers also, to remain strong and also to surge on. So this text is very deep. I'm not that advanced that I can speak so much about it. But the mercy of Vaishnavas, mercy of Prabhupada, it just moved my understanding to this text, especially the Chatusloki, as a springboard to be able to discuss this. Because once you understand Krishna and all that Krishna has in custody for all his creation, you become the wise. So he said, the wise who know this, the wise who perfectly knows this, not haphazard, perfectly know this, engage in my devotional service and worship me with all your hearts. This is the destination. Now it's up to us. Lord Brahma has taught by example. The four Kumaras taught us. All the great sages in the past, they have taught. In line of this discussion, he mentioned about Pulasya, he mentioned about Parasaramuni, and this same Bhagavatam, we are hearing Parikit Maharaj's version of Bhagavatam. Does not mean that is the beginning of Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is Nitya's Bhagavatam Seva. Kuvera, Narad Muni, and Lord Shiva, they daily sit together to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is describing under a banyan tree that is 800 miles wide and 600 miles tall daily. It's ongoing because it is therapeutic. It is medicine. So let us benefit ourselves and also benefit anybody who encounters us. That is the injunction of Mahaprabhu. Yaredeka, Tarekaha, Krishna Upadesh. Wherever you go, whomsoever you meet, tell them about Krishna as is enjoined in Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. If you do this, Amara Agyanya Hara, Guru Edesa, you become the guru, the spiritual mentor, and you will save the land. This is the Great Commission. Save the land. But if you have not been able to save yourself, can you save anybody? Not possible. You cannot give what you don't have. So the whole of this, in conclusion, is a clarion call to duty, a clarion call to commitment, a clarion call to responsibility. But we should first be responsible to ourselves. Then Guru and Krishna will shower the empowerment. I remember once when I was in Port Harcourt and Srila Krishna visited Port Harcourt. A lot of things going on in our community of Vaishnavas. And the day Srila Krishna was going, it's not everything that Guru hears or that is reported to Guru that you will know. But somehow, he will give you his message. So he came to me, his vehicle is parked, he has already taken darshan in temple room, he's all out. So at the left side veranda of the temple, he came to me and he asked me, did Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur have it easy? I didn't know why he asked, but I just thought for a while. I said, no. He said, did Prabhupada find it easy? I said, no. And just after that, he raised his hand and he banged my head, with heavy strength. Why do you think you will have it easy. You know, that banging could be demoralizing at some point, but the icing on the banging was he removed his garland and he put on my neck. Big solace, big consolation, big empowerment. So let us keep striving. Mercy is all over us. Kavichandra Swami once visited my temple here in Ota. And one of my committee members was telling him, you know, normal Indian attitude. Maharaj, please bless us. Please give your mercy. And Maharaj said, what blessing do you want from me? All around you is blessings. All around you is mercy. Bhagavad Gita is one mercy. Bhagavatam is mercy. The deities are mercy. Tulsi Devi is mercy. Just stretch out your arms and grab it. Self-application. Do it yourself. That is the example that we are taught in these pages and in these texts. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. A nice class. Thank you. I have one question.
I've not asked a question.
I have a question.
I just said Hare Krishna. Reply Hare Krishna first.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. In the beginning of your lecture, you mentioned that one needs to be empowered to be a devotee. You remember you said that?
Yes.
One needs to be empowered to be a devotee. So everybody who is a devotee has been empowered to be a devotee. So if one needs to be empowered to be a devotee, why do we not take that into consideration the way we treat devotees? Why don't we consider this person has been empowered to be a devotee when we treat devotees in a way that's not too good?
Thank you very much. I'm inspired by this question, and I may not be in the right position to answer, but I appreciate you greatly because this is for benefit of everybody. But I'll start by making reference to what we are taught and we are expected to practice. The first offense against the chanting the holy name of the Lord is what? What is the first offense? Can anybody help me? I need help. What is the first offense against the chanting of the holy name?
To offend the first of all, the witches of the Lord.
To blaspheme devotees who have dedicated their life. Every day we recite it, but it is lip service. We have finished it. But that is where our life is centered around. Rupa Goswami gave us 9 stages of devotional service. Ado Sradha. But Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gave us 14 stages of devotion. For one to become a devotee, he has gotten mercy of a saintly person just by whatever, even by meeting, by little service, is given mercy. That mercy is what will bring him to association of sadhu sangha, and every other thing will continue from there. But when we have rough edges with devotees, we forget all of this, including the blasphemy of devotees. We treat them with disdain. Prabhupada said it takes 6 pints of blood to make one devotee. But Mahaprabhu said, as tolerant as a tree, as humble as a blade of grass, devoid of all sense of false prestige. I'm Lord, Ishwaro Ham, Aham Bogi, Sido Ham, Balabam Suki. I'm perfect, nobody like me. That is demoniac arrogance. So this aspect of our Krishna consciousness is not a thing to cast aspersions about. It is just that it requires hearing, like we are hearing what we are hearing now, and internalizing it for understanding, and then applying it. Every devotee is valuable. The day we realize it, we'll find out that we evolve a different approach to how we kick devotees out. Devotees will have shortcomings, but in society, what do they call correctional centers? That is what prison house is. Why don't we have correctional center? We just throw them to the wall back, forgetting the effort and the pints of blood that have been dispensed to attract them based on their security. And today we'll find out that we are sourcing for manpower, people to practice Krishna consciousness. It's a major challenge now, because when we had them in number, we're just kicking them out, kicking them left and right. We forgot that there's a need for correctional centers. And even the ones that are there, we don't find a better way to relate. That's why you find out that in our system here, the only position of recognition is temple president, and everybody wants to be temple president, but not everybody can be temple president. But then the position of temple president is not for enjoyment, it's for service. Das anudas. That is servant leadership. So, Prabhu, I said I'm not qualified.
Thank you, Prabhu. You've tried.
To answer.
Prabhu Chakra maybe he want to help you. Prabhu Chakra, please take the floor.
Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Dandava Pranam, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Dandava Pranam. All glories to Guru, all glories to Prabhupada, and all glories to you. Towards the end of your class, you were mentioning how we should endeavor and try to be practitioners, because we cannot give what we don't have. But many a time we see even Prabhupada mostly use the example that the postmaster, the post office, what do we call it? The postmaster only delivers postman only delivers the letters that have been given him, and he might not. Maybe an envelope contains maybe $50,000,
hundreds of dollars,
hundreds of dollars. But the postman himself might not have that amount of money, and yet he delivers it. So how do we correlate that? Because Prabhupada said we only have to deliver it.
Yes.
So even though the postman doesn't have the money, but he's delivering it anyway.
Yeah, it didn't say the postman does not have the money. He may also have it, but the postman's duty is to deliver without checking or knowing even what is the content. It's like drag and drop on computer. You drag, you drop it.
Drop. Okay.
You understand? So the postman, because he's bona fide representing the post office department, his duty is to deliver whatever parcel is handed him to the recipient. Whether it is hundreds and hundreds of dollars, he does it perfectly well. The same thing in our own case. If we have not sufficiently equipped ourselves by proper learning, proper practice, and the conviction that we should go out there and give Krishna consciousness to people, then we start mutilating the process. Somebody came to me this morning. I think he has encountered devotees somewhere. And he came with the intention, two things he asked me. I want to be a member of this movement. And two, I just opened a business outfit and I want my business to be flourishing. And then it dropped my jaws when he said, I know one devotee who used to do certain things for people. I just met him today. And I said, well, to be member, I categorize 4: congregational member, club member, international life member, and devotee member, that is resident devotee member, 4. 2 are not fee inclined. 2 are fee inclined. Club member you pay, life member you pay. But being a devotee is voluntary. Being a congregational member is voluntary. Now, as far as your business is concerned, if you are coming and associating with devotees and you are chanting the holy name and participating in devotional activities, it is Krishna's prerogative to see that things around you flourish to convince you or stimulate your faith. And I gave him book, I gave him the holy name, and we ended happily. So that is the much I can give him that I have. But if I start telling him that I can bring the ashes from the front of the deity, I can recommend one bathing, or recommend this and recommend that, and it can expand into to a point where certain rituals are conducted. That is not our business. That is not our work. Our process is simple. So we have to learn, we have to practice, and we have to give it as it is, undiluted. So giving is our duty. How we give depends on the texture we have. This is the little I can mention now. If somebody else like Govind Prabhu have something to add, you can help us out. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Then over to you, Prabhu. My respectful obeisances. All glory to Gurudev, all glory to Srila Prabhupada. Now, Prabhu, I don't have anything to add. All I have to say is that I do appreciate your delivery today very much. This is a practical form of presentation to some of us who are still neophytes, for us to approach the transcendental devotional service. Sometimes it's a familiarity brings content. When we become familiar to something, we intend disregard the potency or the efficacy of that particular thing that we are dealing with. It's like somebody staying with a king. It may be the most powerful king that everybody fears. Once you associate with that king for a long time, you know, you lose the value, the respect that you have for him. So sometimes some of us, we become devotees, we've been in the system for a while, and there are so many things, the petty things that help us in our advancement to Krishna consciousness. We intend lose values for those very things. You know, you did mention of respecting devotees, giving regards to devotees, and Krishna Prabhu asks, you know, and you also added to it that for one to become a devotee means that person is really qualified for Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to bring him into the system of devotional service. I always say that devotional service is like a party. It's like a party. And a big man officiating a party, he sent an invitation to very important people, or those people who are close or closer to him. Then invitation is sent to such people to come and attend the meeting. And so this is a party that is arranged by Lord Chaitanya. So whoever is here chanting Hare Krishna, that person is invited by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. Otherwise, no ordinary person can attend to this party. But we intend to disregard the devotees because of familiarity. So that is where I would like you to emphasize more as to how we can have the same pioneering consciousness, the same consciousness in which we entered into devotional service as today. How we can again go back and retrieve those kind of consciousness. Because remember, when we were Baptists, we were very, 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 very happy. We were very, very enthusiastic. And we have a lot of experiences. Krishna revealed so many, many things to us. But right now, those things are no more there. You know, to some of us, those things are no more there because of the petty, petty things that we have brushed them off, thinking that they are not important. So I would like you to emphasize more on that point. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu, for this input that is given from the archives. Experience, they say, is the best teacher. And whatever has built our experience is part of what we visit. But in modern day convention or assessment, like those of us who have children, we can see that the level of enthusiasm and meticulousness we exercise to practice Krishna consciousness, our kids may not have it. Why? The society now measures based on wealth. I was just reading something today, and somebody was analyzing that in the 90s and 80s in Nigeria, there were not many cars on the road because the salary structure, somebody is earning £5, £10, £120, and a car is 70-something thousand. He cannot afford to buy a new car. So that wasn't a priority concept or consumption for him. Okay? But today, everybody wants car. And where it's made worse, those who are in high place positions, they can afford to buy 10 cars. I know that one of the ministers at one time, his son, if he's going to a party in a Jeep and then the Jeep breaks down on the road, he doesn't have to worry about repairs or anything. He only has to put a phone call across and another Jeep will come and continue from there for him. He didn't work for this. It's just like Lajen, free. So our children hold this against us. They see us like we are not financially competing in society. And they don't want to be this financially impoverished. But they cannot see the integrity with which we have lived. And it is that integrity with which we have lived that Krishna is reciprocating. Many things we do today, I can make bold to say, I don't have capacity to do many things I'm doing. But because of consistently involving in Krishna consciousness, Krishna takes care of many things. But they think they will take care. And so they don't have that zeal that we have. But we should not give up on those tenets. Those tenets. I'm in a committee where there's a need for assessment. And they want to assess a candidate for sannyasi. And they want to see the commitment to devotional service. So part of the assessment is he must have a program attendance record. In most temples, this is there. The big, steady temples. If you come from Mangalat, you have to mark register. You come for group puja, you mark register. And if you do that for years consistently, it is in your benefit. But in most of our casual environment, this is not upheld. So if you request to give some reference or recommendation for somebody, you may not have quality recommendation. Okay? So we should continue with those exercises that we're embarking on, especially like yesterday, we were speaking about Pavitra Prabhu. All he knows was daily go out on Sankirtan. How many people are doing Sankirtan now? Because they feel Sankirtan is not giving sufficient money. So they want to press phone and press out some money from the phone. And we who are not pressing phones, we look like we're impoverished, but we are very rich in Krishna consciousness. So this is how I can put it. We have to keep up what we are doing. It is now up to the Lord in the heart, because Krishna said in that portion of Bhagavad Gita, I think text number, one of the Chatuslokis, chapter 10, text 10, or 11. It says, to show them special mercy, I dwelling in their heart, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge, darkness born of ignorance. So these traits that are like darkness, Krishna will destroy from the heart. But then the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra, the following the four regulative principles, the preaching, the reading, the taking and sharing of prasadam, it will help us if they are attracted to it, or will make them be attracted to it. This is just the little I can add. It's unlimited. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you.
Okay, Prabhu, I have another question.
Go ahead.
I put it for you in the screen. The last verse you read, 33, the end of the Bhagavatam. In the paper, Prabhupada mentioned, even if one is in the material mode of passion, like myself, who wants to create something in the world, he still need to take permission from Krishna. He still need to take shelter of the Supreme for necessary energy. So my question is, when we preach devotional service to devotees, we preach about renunciation of material activities and detachment from material activities. But here the purport seems to contradict that our preaching philosophy.
Please come the last portion you mentioned now.
Last portion said, even if one is in the material mode of passion.
Your own phrasing, you phrase something now.
Okay. I was just saying, like people, devotees who are in the material world, so to speak, who are not living in temple, and our philosophy, when we preach to devotees, we tend to tell them they are in Maya. Then this verse is saying, even though they are in the material mode of passion, to create something big in the world, they still need to take shelter of the Lord for necessary energy. My question is, if devotees know this verse, why do we preach as if we are condemning devotees who are walking in the world?
I said
are we not fighting the same energy of the Lord they took shelter of to be in the mood of passion?
Well, you know, passion is in many faces. There can be materially motivated passion, and there can be spiritually motivated passion. Arjun did not want to fight the battle because it was very sattvic. But Krishna has to put a very high level, volumes. He says 10 milligrams. He gave him doses to be able to stimulate his passion to fight. But that passion was in Krishna consciousness. Those of us who are not on Arjun's level, we may be influenced by material mode of passion, outright passion, that we don't see the God factor. We are thinking we are the doers. My scheme will work. You know, as I was preparing, I was also thinking of how location of industry. In economics, they tell you land, labor, capital, entrepreneur. That's all you need. Where is taking shelter mentioned in that? And you can see outrightly, many companies, they flourish and they crumble like civilizations. The civilization rise and fall. In goal setting, we use the acronym, what do you call it? Specific, measure, SMART. Okay? In all of that SMART acronym, where is taking shelter? It's not there. Are you understanding? So, but it takes passion to do all of this or deal with all of this. But this is a Krishna conscious counsel. So if somebody is mentioning to us, we should take it with a pinch of salt. And if we are very, very well grounded in Krishna consciousness, we just have to not mind the way they present it to us, but we have to take shelter. The last encounter I have with my Guru Maharaj, these are the things he told me. He said, this material body will drop any minute, somehow or the other. So don't be too worried about your health condition, your therapies and all of this. He said, just take shelter. Shelter of all that Prabhupada has given, the books, the holy name, deity worship. Take shelter yourself. And as much as possible, to your convenience, share with people. If it is not convenient, apply it yourself first. Then lastly, he told me, practical. We have to chant together before we end this call. And we chanted Hare Krishna mantra together. It was like I win jackpot on that day. I was so enlivened, full of life, very enthused. Okay? So we can see it that the people are not outrightly criticizing us, but it's Krishna that is drawing our attention to essentials. Like I said, land labor capital has no shelter inside. Smart has no shelter inside. So it is added factor. So do what you are doing, but bring Krishna inside. That's what Lord Brahma is teaching us here now. Lord Brahma said all the ingredients were complete. He said 5 factors of creation. They were complete, but his taking shelter was added factor. Because at that point, you depend on Krishna. And that's what Arjun did in the end. Arjun said, I will do only what you say. Because Krishna told him, even if you don't fight, all these people have killed them. I just want to glorify you. Okay? So that taking shelter factor, it may not be criticism. It may be an advice that Krishna is sending to us, though through people who present it in the way that it may look unpalatable to us. That's what he says here. Prabhupada ended it. He said, Prabhupada ended by saying, that is the part of successful termination of any attempt. He didn't say material or spiritual. Taking shelter of the Supreme is the part of successful termination. So we will take shelter of Krishna. He said there in Bhagavad Gita chapter, Kamani Vadi Karaste, Ma Falesu Katnachana, Ma Kama Fala Hetubu, Mateswango Swakamani. You have a right to action, but you cannot determine the result of your action. It is Krishna who gives results. So that is what taking shelter means. But then, if we are not that evolved, we can take it as a spite, and then we become hardened. And then there will be a way that cement right onto a man. But the end thereof is destruction. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Does it make any way for your understanding?
Yes, it make a way, halfway.
better than no way.
Yes, halfway.
Vara Prabhu, Hare Krishna, Dandava Pranam. Please, if you have some contributions to make, you can help us.
No, it's not available now.
He's
Madhuvan, please.
Maybe he's driving.
Madhuvan, on mute.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Dandava
All
Pranam,
glory,
Prabhu.
all glory to
All glories to Guru and Goranga. All glories to your divine lotus feet.
So you are very much welcome. And you're also very much appreciated for delivering this very wonderful lecture. We are enlightened. So, as for the last question, I think the questioner was, he was saying that it appears as a contradiction. When even Lord Brahma himself was so charged with the mode of action. So, just what my explanation is that in the Bhagavad Gita 4:13, Krishna stated that according to the three modes of material nature and the work ascribed to them, the four divisions of human society were created by me. So, but initially, our preaching, yeah. So initially, our preaching appears to be making everybody a Brahmana, but but definitely all of us cannot be a Brahmana. Some will be Vaishnava, some will be Shastra, and even the Sudras. So it is the complete now that makes a complete society, not just one aspect of it. So our movement also, we are dependent on the factories, the industry, or the industrialists. They are devotees also, and their responsibility is to support those who are renounced in the temple, especially financially. Because those in the temple, they are rendering service to those who are outside. They are taking care of the temple and their spiritual aspects. Since Krishna has to be worshipped, the deities are there. So this combination makes a complete a society, not just Brahmins alone. So, and with this text now, Krishna wanted Lord Brahma to pray, so he has to surcharge him with the mode of passion. So when it's a mode of passion, then that was the mode you can actually create. So sometimes, and as a devotee, whatever we have to do, Krishna will give us the necessary energy. After we have taken shelter of him, then we always become successful in any of our things.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Contribution, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Any other contribution or comment or questions?
Please, any question? I'm here, Prabhu.
I thought you have skedaddled.
For we are at the grace. Are they here? Any question, please? I have another question, Prabhu. Why is Lord Brahma always using mountain to narrate or to describe Krishna, how he sees Krishna?
Well, Lord Brahma himself can answer. But then in the text, it is mentioned here, it is just to show us how gigantic that Krishna is bigger than anything we have. And if you see during the accord between the demons and the demigods, they agreed to churn the ocean for elixir of immortality, isn't it? But for the churning to have effect, they have to utilize Mandara Mountain and Vasuki, Snake and Mountain, the same Snake and Mountain we are discussing here. Okay, that is the God factor they brought in. So Lord Brahma is not doing something weird. It is just that he's expressing that might be in the church they're singing, this kind God, I never see your time. So bigger, God is big. And in Bhagavad Gita chapter 15, text 18, 15:18, Krishna himself said it. Chapter 15, text 18. Krishna said that is why. He said, Yasmat Sharam Atitoham, Aksharata Pichotama, Atosmi Loke Vedecha, Patitam Purushotama. Because I'm transcendental, beyond both the fallible and the infallible, and because I am the greatest. So that greatness is also embedded in the power of mightiness, mountain, mountainous, big. I am celebrated both in the Veda, in the world, and the Vedas are the supreme person. So it's just, in my little understanding, how big God is. Prabhu was speaking yesterday it is abstract or impersonal. Oh, God is great. How great is God? Prabhupada asks. He has to be quantified. So Brahma is trying to quantify the bigness of God by using mountain reference. This is what I can give as leadway.
Thank you, Prabhu. You are doing well.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Please, any other question? Or we can round it up here. There's a question.
Yes, Prabhu.
Who is speaking? Oh, yes, Prabhu, please. Please go ahead.
Yes, Govinda Das.
Yes, Prabhu, go.
Prabhu, I have a little concern, and I would like you to address it so that the people who will listen to this class in future will know what to do, especially when one is a resident devotee. And otherwise, any person who accepts this path of devotional service and proper understanding that he is part and parcel of Krishna and he has eternal duty, and that duty is to serve Krishna. So what I would like you to address is how to protect and to respect what Krishna has given us. One may not be living in a temple, but if we are seeing Krishna as the supreme provider, that means that whatever is in our possession, we are caretakers. We are not masters, but we are caretakers. And so one may be living in his house, but how to see your wife, one can see his wife, her husband, children, whatever is in his possession as a property of Krishna, and that those properties must be respected. And you cannot respect something that you cannot say I respect something, but I will not take care of it. Now, what I can see practically is most of our temples, Prabhu's last question, Prabhu Kusha's last question, I think last but one question concerning devotees. No, I think it's the other Prabhu. He said those devotees outside have to take care of those inside. That is absolutely true. But those inside are also expected to act in such a way that they trust those outside to also provide for them. And for someone to work hard and give his access to you living in a temple, it's not an ordinary thing. For one to give you his sweat, it's not ordinary. The person has to be touched by the Lord to give you anything. And so if you are in a temple, there are also certain things expected from you living there in a temple. Now you go to some temples, you see a lot of dirt everywhere, a lot of dust. So many things are broken, vehicles are broken down, temple is collapsing, things are in bad shape, and those should be Brahmanas. Brahmana, one of the quality of a Brahman is cleanliness. You don't care. You don't work hard and then bring you whatever they have, right, for you to just enjoy and sit down there because you live in a temple. And the whole temple is dirty and things are breaking down. Vehicles are breaking down. Nobody cares because it's not our property. How do we shape our consciousness? How do we believe? How do we come to this understanding that that temple we are living is for Krishna, and that whatever is there is also for Krishna? And if we actually believe that we are the sons of Krishna, this property is for our Father, and therefore we have to take care of those properties. How do we develop this consciousness, this understanding? Until we develop this understanding, the temple will never progress. And nobody will like to come and live in that temple. I remember those days, years ago, when I was living there in the temple, we have Karma Yoga. When it is time for Karma Yoga, we ring bell, and everybody will go and do his Karma Yoga. The whole temple was clean, shiny. You go to restrooms, every place is clean, and people rush to go and do their Karma Yoga. Nowadays, these things are gone. It's no more there. And people are living right there in the temple, not paying bills, not paying anything, just living there and enjoy PRASAD, and expecting people working hard from outside to give them whatever they are making. So I would like you to speak on this very matter, because it's very much concerned. And I'm speaking from experience, from practical experience, that some temples practically it's like collapsing, and nobody cares. Nobody cares about whatever. How do we shape our consciousness? How do we understand ourselves as the sons and the children of God? And we are living in a house of God, and it is our duty to take care of the property God has entrusted in our hands, like our own. Like a Kami living outside his house, living in his house, taking care of his house, taking care of his property, and everything. He's so conscious about it, making sure those things are protected. We don't have that mindset. How do we develop this mindset? Please.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. It's a very pathetic circumstance, although it varies from environment to environment. But you see, it is not imported. Prabhu Madhava mentioned something. He said, he quoted Bhagavad Gita chapter 4, text 13, Chato Vanya Maya Siswa, Guna Kama Vibhagasa. Guna, the moods, and karma, activity. You can see here, he mentioned of Brahma and karma in the text. In the last text we read, he said, intent on creating the notes. So Brahma was infused with passion, but it's not everybody who has passion. And if you see in the Vanashram, it is the Kshatriya that is passionate. The Brahmana is sattvic. But one thing in Brahmana is the orderliness. Orderliness, a Brahman likes things to be in order, perfect arrangement. So it's not because he does not have passion, but he likes orderliness, he likes cleanliness, he likes knowledge, and is attached to it. So if this is lacking, it means we have not really become or come to that level of Brahminical culture where we like clean and then we like orderliness. And so my assessment of our situation, because I'm inside what you are talking now. And when I was sick for 2 years during COVID in India, I realized that 90% of our situation is around knowledge and training. When you came in as a bhakta, you are given the knowledge of Karma Yoga and you are trained to do Karma Yoga. The situations in the temple now is just like some people are so short manpowered that anything that crosses in the form of a human being, they bring them inside. And then they start inheriting liabilities. It is their approach. because in congregation building, you need both quality and quantity. But you need more of quality than quantity. So if we don't prioritize, you see that we have quantity, but we don't have quality. And that is what is prevalent in most places. But the bane of the situation is people should be trained. If you keep people and you are not training them in physical and practical knowledge, what Kama Yoga is going to do. Somebody is washing toilet. I remember when I was in Chopati, the early days of Chopati, we inherited the, what is it called? The orphanage. The orphanage there, they do not quote Hindu orphanage. If you see a white tiled marble that people have been urinating for years and is unkept, the marble will turn brown, become brown. And for some people, they may not want to come there again because they feel they can be infected. Okay? So when we were given that toilet of the orphanage, I was the commander. Everybody's attitude is different. That's the first thing. On my own, because of how I've been trained and the kind of experience I've gotten, I wanted that place clean. Nobody told me. I went to buy hydrochloric acid, HCl, and I pour it on that tile. HCl will clean anything, burn it up. That same brown marble or tiles became white because somebody gave attention. So that is the first thing. Everybody, somebody, nobody. Somebody must take interest, although it is a responsibility for everybody. And everybody will think somebody has to do it. In the end, when there's too many assumptions, nobody will do it. That is somebody, everybody, nobody. So it was a collective responsibility, but I took it upon myself. I bought the hydrochloric acid. I put it, if you go to Chapati and ask any of the old devotees that were there in 1987, 88 and ask, they will reference this. Until tomorrow, that very platform is still there, even in the new refurbished construction of the bathroom system in Chopati downstairs, it is still there. So yes, it takes somebody to do it, and it takes also somebody to identify it, and it takes somebody also to fund it. So instead of bifurcating because it is not done, we can make suggestions. That's why you see in some committee, we have suggestion boxes that we put in strategic places. Who can make contributions, suggest something. Because everybody is not equally endowed. Some may oversight it if they are very renounced. They will oversight it. But it takes somebody who have the passion, the person who wants the orderliness, the person who wants it to see it done, to get it done. So if we wait for condemnation or judgment, we may never get it done. So like you're passing it now, me, I see it as a feedback. And feedback is for getting things better. And so if the leaders in that environment also see it as feedback and they attend to it, then we have a harmonious situation where both the donors, because what you are saying now is affecting many places. Many donors are not given to the temples again because they think the resident temple devotees are not responsible enough in taking care. They waste, they careless, and then they decide to just stay on their own. But that is not the solution. Keeping off is not the solution. You can even sometimes also come on your own if you are so obsessed and disturbed. Come and show by example. Because you are Krishna's devotee. It's Krishna's property. If somebody is not as Krishna conscious as you can guide them how to become. So it may be attended to in many approaches, but let us keep educating people in terms of the knowledge of the philosophy and then the application of this knowledge, which is self-application and preaching application. This I can attend to it. Otherwise, apportioning blames may not actually solve the problem outrightly. This is the little I can put, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Prabhu Vira is back
Hare
now.
Krishna.
Prabhu Vira, please unmute. He's back. Yes.
Dandava Pranam, Prabhuji.
Hi, Hare Krishna. Please answer my more businesses. How do I
All
start
glories to
good?
Guru and Goranga. All glories to the divine service.
How do I start Prabhupada? How do I yes. Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu. It's a nice discussion. And sorry, when you were calling my attention, I was in an office.
Oh, sorry about that.
Okay, so I just want to make a contribution to Govinda Prabhu's question. Thank you for the question, and thank you also for the answer you've given. But please, I have certain things to address on this issue, which may not be the traditional way of speaking. So kindly excuse me. One is that our semantics in Ishkan do not help us at all, at all. And it is not even Indian. We cannot even say that it is from the Hindu culture. It is some semantics developed in Ishkan, which is completely disorienting devotees. I will give an example. First is that Prabhu said, and not only Prabhu, many of us used to say it, everyone has been saying it, resident devotees, those who are living in the temple. That is not the correct way of addressing devotees. Full-time devotees are priests in training. They live in the ashram, not in the temple. No one lives in the temple, not even in India. No one lives in the temple. They live in the ashram. And ashram means monastery. So when somebody wants to live in the ashram, there are rules for living in the ashram, just like living in any monastery. And the first principle is discipline. I used to tell anyone who wants to live in the ashram, I used to tell them, the ashram is, there are 4 places you live in that you lose your liberty. 4 places you live that you lose your liberty. If you live in the prison, if you live in the hospital, if you live in the barracks, and if you live in the monastery, these 4 places you have no liberty. So you are not free until they say you are free. You cannot eat until they say you can eat. There is time for everything, and you have to immediately understand that once you come in. So you see, this kind of orientation is missing nowadays. And in general, people have taken the temple as another place to go and live. Like Prabhu was giving an example, if you live in your own house, the way you take care of your own house, many who come to us do not even a house they can take care of. They don't even know how to take care of a house. Many don't even have a house where they take care of. So if we are not explaining to people what it means to live in the ashram, not live in the temple, not even Indians will say that they live in the temple. Mandi is not a place to live in. It is the ashram. You are in the ashram. And ashram means monastery. You don't see Catholic priests misbehaving in the seminary or in the monastery. No way. But they will not say they're living in the church. They are not living in the church. They're living in the seminary or they're living in the monastery. So first, it's our semantics. It has taken many things wrong for us. So we get people coming with the mentality that, yeah, I'm living in the temple, well, they don't take care of me, and so on and so forth. And then they start misbehaving because they do not understand the principle of living in the ashram, of principle of living in the monastery. So this is first aspect of the problem. There are many other aspects of the problem. I do not want to go into details because I don't want to take over the class. But I'll just comment on the second aspect. That is, people don't give donation, or people are not helping any longer because of this. Of course, that also has 2 aspects. One is, if you think that you are taking care of the devotees by your your donation, that is also a wrong a wrong conception. Your contribution to the temple is your duty, your religious duty. And under no condition should it stop, unless you're losing faith or unless you're changing your denomination. But if people think that they are taking care of the devotees in the temple by their donation, they are making big mistakes. It's Krishna who takes care of the devotees. The people who live in the monastery do not depend, and they should not even have the consciousness that they depend on members to be maintained. They depend only on Krishna. When we were devotees, I'm sorry, I'm still devotee. When we used to go out and look Sankirtan, we never thought that anyone was contributing anything to the temple. We used to go out and sweat it out and bring money, and we just feel comfortable. We knew that we are doing our best to make the temple run. We were not thinking whether Indians are giving money or anything. But today, that is the mentality. So anyway, like I said, I don't want to make it too long, but there's a whole lot of misconception about how we run things in ISKCON, and it's not helping us. Prabhupada said, learn from the Catholics, learn administration from the Catholics, and keep your philosophy. We have not learned anything. We have taken, Krishna, even the Hindus, they don't do the same. They don't do it the way we are doing. Even the Hindus, they respect their pandages, the priests, more than they respect devotees living in so-called temples, because they don't see themselves living in the ashram and keeping ashram principles or living according to ashram principle life. Many of them don't even know that. So this is what I have to say, that we have to begin, of course, like you rightly say, Prabhu, the education, the training, and that has gone, it has gone off, it has gone wayward. Everything is now mumble jumble, do it anyhow, do what you want. And of course, there's a lot we can say on that. Those who have come and spoiled the whole training system. Yeah, and they are all in charge now, and they see what is happening under them. Sorry to say that. Thank you.
I'm very grateful. Thank you. I like the way you sounded, and it's like what is needed. Only thing is how many people are going to hear this and digest it, but that is the truth. Okay? This admission procedure is part of the semantics of the fault. Before you admit anybody, there are prerequisites. What we have done is just bring people in, and most people who brought in may not even have any basic, like you said. They never had a house. They never took responsibility of maintenance. And so what do you expect? Okay? And the same thing happened even in maintenance. Most of us are living today. Yes, Krishna is maintaining us, yes. And then we are staying within the temple premises, but we're also striving. We have economic fronts to run our bills and support the temple also as Grihasthas. But people who are myopic never knew it is important, so there were confrontations earlier. Once you are enterprising, they kick your ass. But today, everybody is impoverished. So Prabhu, thank you for that. And as we keep talking, and with this same mood, I like your vibes. It may sink, but then it may be too late to cry when the head is off. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhu, for a nice class. Thank you, everybody. I think if there's no more question, we can round it up here. Let's see this question. They have chosen a new pope.
What? From where?
They're about to announce him now.
It's from where?
I said they're about to announce him. I'm just informing you. They've chosen somebody.
Okay.
It's surprising how they tell the world they choose a pope. Today, the first vote show black smoke. Now they show white smoke.
This is accepted.
Yes, China is announcing they are about to announce the new pope. So everybody's watching to know who it is.
Very good. That is what Prabhu just said. Even the Muslims, they are very excited how the Pope was buried. Very honorable. You understand? So yes, Prabhupada said it. Administration, learn from the Catholics. Kavichandra Maharaj says the same thing also. For management, go to church and learn. For philosophy, read Prabhupada books. That is very true. So, but then if we live in isolation, we think we are not part of society, then we cannot borrow a leaf from where something is going well. You know, you have to mingle. Yeah. Otherwise, you're being recluse. You'll be in hermits. Okay, see the news you are bringing now. It may not be appreciated by many people, but it is part of society. Although Trump dressed himself as Pope the other day, and they are taking exception to that. And he suggested that Americans should be Pope also. And Americans he gave name. So, but this is how society works. We have to know the antiques of society and then use it in our environment. That's how things can work for us. Yeah. But if we're anti-society, we can never break even. So thank you for the update. Thank you. And I like the post you made also about the Pakistan-Indian war now. My son is disturbed. Maybe the war will reach New Delhi or Vrindavan.
America is asking them to make peace. Let's see.
All right.
Please, we ask all devotees to kindly unmute yourselves and let's chant Hare Krishna to Maharaj Ganga for a nice class. Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Hare.
Ganga Maharaj ki jai.
Jai. Very much. Hare Krishna.